This is Foamstars. We're here on PlayStation 5. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So this is a multiplayer focused Splatoon-like foaming game. It's honestly really silly and kind of dumb, but let's dive in and talk about it. Looks like we're getting here a 4K resolution, 60 FPS. It is smooth, it is visually clean, and it's got some interesting, I guess you could kind of call them physics to a degree, as you just kind of like pepper the environment with foam. Foam lets you move faster, foam stacks up, foam has properties. It's a interesting concept. So you play the game kind of in a couple ways. So first off, there's this mode, which is like the primary thing you're doing. You are trying to smash each other as foam balls while smashing your teammates to save them when they're foam balls. And yeah, it's 4-on-4 action. Then there's like this rotating selection of other modes. Like there's one where you're kind of fighting over a rubber duck to kind of move it into battle. There's one where you're kind of like doing a survival type thing. It's just this rotating, I think it's about like every hour or so, rotating selection of modes, which actually are kind of more interesting than the main mode here, which I guess this mode is technically a team deathmatch, I guess, to a degree. Like somebody becomes the lead and, you know, you try to take them out and you're just regularly killing each other too, and or sorry, I guess chilling each other out or whatever. It's just kind of a really noisy, busy, sporadic foam fest. So you'll either like this or you kind of won't, and yeah, I don't know, just like I find it really kind of silly and dumb, and I'm all about weird experimental multiplayer games, but like this just doesn't it just doesn't do it for me. There's also these missions, which I guess you could kind of call, I suppose, a single player sort of thing to a degree. Like you can play them with others, but I was not really able to like ever find anybody that wanted to play them, like matchmaking wise. There just wasn't anybody doing it. And I kind of tried it solo, and there's different things for the characters, and you do kind of just a quick survival thing with waves, and it was, I don't know, it really wasn't too worth playing or diving into. I do love the aesthetics of this game. The characters, they're varied and distinct. I don't know if I necessarily say they have a lot of personality to them, but I mean, visually they have a lot of noise and personality going on. And then there's the microtransaction stuff, which I don't always specifically comment about in review type things, but it is, it's kind of crazy. There's like character packs, and they're like $60 Canadian. It's kind of crazy. We'll get into the next match. So now the rubber duck party has begun, which is a lot cooler. But yeah, like I was saying, there's these really, really expensive packs, like $60, and you get a character skin and then a couple items, and I was just like, holy, that's wild. At least I thought so. So this game is weird to me. Like, it's really kind of narrow in its focus, which I guess is a good idea for multiplayer, because I've seen so many multiplayer games try to have too many modes going on, if that makes sense, and it kind of dilutes the players, and you know, you really got to hit with these multiplayer games, otherwise you kind of vanish. And I just, again, I find this really stupid in the nicest of terms. Like, I don't know how this kind of got past the initial stages of development. I'm really perplexed by it. Like, sure, there's maybe an audience out there that kind of has fun with this and, you know, finds it interesting, and it's like, yeah, you know, the foam mechanics are different, they're interesting. I mean, they're very leaning on Splatoon and such, which we've seen, you know, in the past. With Splatoon, I think having a bit more creativity in how the foam, or sorry, the water in that one's kind of used, or the paint, or whatever. And this one, it's just kind of, I look at it and I'm like, okay, but I don't really want to play more of it. Like, I'm kind of working on it, and I'm gonna kind of just be like, this is not for me. But it could be for you. You might find this to be really interesting. You know, I personally think there was another game, it was called Senran Kagura Beach Splash, I think it was, which kind of did this but with Super Soakers and was a bit more adult. Like, obviously, I think this is maybe more for kids, children, like younger ones. I guess, like, it's very visually stylized and stuff, but to me it's just like a bunch of noise. Like, I don't really even know what's going on here. I'm just kind of walking and shooting and then splashing stuff. I'm not saying I don't know what's going on in general, just saying right now I'm just kind of like splashing and hitting, and it's just like there's a lot of noise on the screen. I'm at 3 trills, or chills, it's a triple chill, and there's a giant rubber duck thing which looks cool, and you know, it's got vibrancy and nice visuals to it, and it's you know, like, it's a cool vibe and all that. I just, again, I kind of look at this and I'm sort of thinking it's a little silly. Like, each of the characters, they kind of have their own thing going on, you know, not only aesthetics, but in terms of their weaponry and tools, and then you can personalize them as you get stuff, and like, again, it's kind of neat, but there's just, to me, it's all a lot of noise, just noise on noise on noise, and I don't know if I find that super intriguing in a sense. Like, I don't, it's over already. It's longer to matchmake than get into matches sometimes. So yeah, if you're looking for quick matches, fast action, vibrant lights, noisy visuals, and a noisy screen of foam and fluff and suds, I guess this is kind of your sort of thing? I don't know, I find this to be silly and nonsensical, and it just doesn't really have any sort of edge that I can kind of bite into that really is intriguing to me. It's just, like, it's so colorful looking. I'd actually love a Crackdown game that sort of actually takes this aesthetic style. It would be pretty cool. Thinking of that randomly, I don't know why when I was playing this, but I was like, oh. But, yeah, I just... I don't know, this isn't for me is the biggest thing here, and I really ponder the longevity of this one, how interesting this is for those, you know, looking at playing this, what it kind of provides to those that want to jump in and experience this game. Like, obviously it's got all your modern multiplayer fixtures, the microtransactions are just loudly, ridiculously overpriced in my opinion. And it's just, I don't know who this is really for. Like, I guess people that like Splatoon that want to play something exactly like it, but on PlayStation, I suppose? I really do not get this game. I genuinely don't understand the appeal of this in the slightest, which is weird because, as I've said, I'm always down for super weird experimental multiplayer type games. They're usually my jam, something intriguing or different I'll play, and I've been sitting here just being like, this is just silly. And not silly in like a fun, cutesy, interesting way, but just, I literally don't understand the appeal of this in the slightest. I mean, I'd love to have context into why this would be intriguing to some players, but for me, I'm just kind of like, this is bad. Like, it works, like, functionally it works. The matchmaking is a little long in comparison to how long you actually play a match for. You gotta be... It's so fast. Yeah, it's literally so fast, I can't even get a grasp on what's fully going on in a match, and then it's just over and done, and you're just like, huh? What's happening? What's going on? It's just so bizarre. I really don't get the general appeal and stuff of this one. It's just weird. Shady grandma and shady grandpa. Huh. You don't see that every day. What a weird game. I don't know. Maybe it's for some people out there. I don't get the appeal of this in the slightest.